Is it any more unusual to meet someone through a computer system than to go to a public place where alcohol is served and strike up a conversation with a stranger? Of course, people are not always what they represent themselves to be, whether that's in a bar or on a computer bulletin board system. So I think the same warnings apply, but that doesn't preclude the possibility that they could become a friend or a lover or even a spouse.
Netters tend to move in together and live in the same houses. And they call the houses that they live in shacks, you know, like there's a nerd shack. And
Nerd shacks are great. The first place I moved into in San Jose was a nerd shack, and it was really a blast because there were 7 people moved into this house, and they'd all met each other over BBSs. So every one of them had a phone line and a computer. And whenever like Domino's Pizza or something would come by to deliver us a pizza, we had set up all of the machines in the living room. They were all set up. I mean, the guy thought he'd walked into like NORAD Center or something.
It is to meet this threat that the Air Force has been developing SAGE, the Semi-Automatic Ground Environment System, a network of geographical defense sectors covering the continental United States and extending into Canada.
Now we begin to essentially think of the whole Earth as one shell, all hooked up by internet. A living, thinking shell that may eventually solve what happened at the instant of creation.
What's interesting about the internet, or the so-called information superhighway, really is the fact that it's been a broad and lawless terrain. This was the Wild West in virtual form for a period of time. It will still continue to be pretty wild just because of its largeness and its intensity and the amount of people and the amount of information flying around in there.
We're seeing with the increasing realism of the computer networks, instead of just words on a screen, we're going to see images. We're going to see three-dimensional images. The electronic world becoming more and more realistic. We already have billions of people around the world sitting in their rooms looking at little television boxes all day, passively receiving the entertainment that's fed to them. Now that people have an opportunity to look at a little box and communicate through it, I ask you, is that more alienating or is that connecting people?
This is a recording.
People get so caught up in simulation and those aspects of VR that they lose sight of what I think is the real point, which is the use of VR as a place where you can achieve greater contact. The kind of VR that I think most people are familiar with was the war in the Gulf.
How's it going up there? Everything rocking along all right? Well, it's great, and everybody views it. I
mean, here we managed to create something like reality, but we abstracted out of it the people that we were killing.
Just as the forerunner of great things to come. I think your trip is just going to ignite the excitement and the forward thinking from this country, so I really just wanted to call up and wish you the very best.
So it was like a giant video game, and all we were aware of was that we were winning and that we were zapping the opponent. We hit. These are not blips on the screen.
Game over.
There are people. I mean, I look for a VR where I can hug my daughter and have her feel it, even though she might be in Wyoming and I might be in New York. That's what I want. I want a VR where people who can't stand up and walk can dance with the people they love.
Science and technology is a sword. On one hand, if it's wielded by people who are concerned about other people, the sword could cut against ignorance, poverty, disease, and liberate humanity. Or, if it is wielded by the Pentagon and by the aerospace industries, then perhaps we will have weapons of incredible destructive power, like cruise missiles that have pattern recognition abilities that can recognize objects and drop bombs on them. So I think it's a question that technology itself is neither evil nor saint-like. It's a question of who wields the sword.
The key to the future is whether we will have a culture that celebrates imagination, that celebrates play, that is adventurous and fun, or whether we'll have a future in which we continue to seek greater and greater power. What I do think we need is adventures that last centuries. And that's why virtual reality is so interesting to me, because it really will take centuries to figure out what it means to communicate with other people by directly creating the shared world between us without any limitation.
Key to this new generation that nobody knows what to call is the hippies with beepers. They're high-tech hippies. And then, of course, the real powerhouse are kids between the ages of 4 and 14. And they'll be teaching. And that is more important than I think, because they're going to be running the world in 20 years.
Someday, there will be a generation of kids that grows up that's really good at making up what's inside a virtual world, at making up all of the plants and buildings and things that we have no words for that aren't plants or buildings. And when they grow up together, they're going to have a new way to communicate with one another. In essence, our generation is writing the Constitution for the future of history. We're creating many things that cannot be undone, and yet we have no choice. There's no such thing as standing still. We're too in love with technology to retreat from it, so we must do it well. And of course, I can become stressed out and I worry. I wonder if we will succeed in doing it as well as we can, but I really believe we will. I believe that there's a certain kind of process in the tension we have with one another that makes things better and that we will come through.
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
was told that in the year 2021 a war broke out. Terrorists set off nuclear bombs, destroying major cities and immersing the world in a cataclysmic war that lasted over 5 years, vaporizing all the water, breaking it down into gases, and eliminating all plant and animal life on the Earth. Mankind almost perished. They found their planet a barren wasteland. But one man, a genius named Drexel, developed a method of retransmuting the elements to synthesize water. He started building power plants to do this. However, instead of being mankind's savior, Drexel became a dictator, using his power over the environment and an army of androids. He controlled the people. A small band of rebels, the freedom fighters, was finally able to make some headway to gain freedom. I was 17 when the death of their leader, my father, crippled the movement. For 8 long years I was on my own. My father taught me how to survive, how to shoot, how to pilot, how to fight. It is now the year 2076, 300 years after the first American Revolution. Drexel controls all the power stations and people.
Drexel hit our Salt Crater power station. Sucked up most of the Dig in 12 and shut down life support systems. Placed all of us with these things, his uglies.
Drexel has air and ground patrols on the beam. He knows we're coming in. It all boils down to a duel between gunners.
And that means you, pal. Together again. With life as we know it in the balance. A freaky world Drexel's created.
Across the plaza, the computer wing at the back right.
You think you can handle that? A little bit jumpy, aren't you? We're cool.
Ready to become extinct.
Well, what you waiting for, Hunter? An invitation?
We have to destroy Drexel's ability to create maximum surge.
Good hunting.
You're up, Hunter. You've got to get to it.
Drexel's headquarters dead ahead.
You're looking at doomsday.
You're out of here, pal. Now let's really put some buttons.
The Cave Virtual Reality Theater is a projection-based system. The illusion of immersion is created by projecting stereoscopic computer graphics into a 10-foot cube made of screens that completely surround the viewer. Viewers explore virtual environments by walking in the cave space. Head and hand tracking systems produce the correct perspective projection from the user's point of view and determine the position and orientation of a handheld device we call the wand. This device is used for control and interaction with the virtual world. An audio system is also used and provides sound feedback. The current implementation of the cave has 4 screens, 3 surrounding walls, and a floor. Each side of the cube has an associated electro-home projector and a Crimson Reality Engine workstation from Silicon Graphics. Mirrors are used to fold the optics to reduce the space required between the projectors and screens. Stereographics LCD shutter glasses provide stereo viewing. The tracking systems are a Polimas IsoTrack and Ascension Technologies Flock of Birds. The audio system includes a sampler with a MIDI interface and 6 speakers. The entire cave system is controlled by a Silicon Graphics personal iris. The cave is a non-intrusive interface where reality and virtual reality are combined naturally. Wearing lightweight LCD shutter glasses, users can see themselves and their real surroundings blended with the virtual environment. Interaction with the virtual environment is done with the wand. Its controls and functions depend on the needs of each particular application. In this application, we can see how it is used as a navigation device. In this one, the wand maps the user's head with the computer-generated head. As the user slices his head with the wand, he can see the different sections of the internal structure. Another use for the wand is the ability to pick and move virtual objects. Audio feedback is used to complement the illusion of immersion. Visuals and audio are choreographed to respond to the user's actions or to reflect the state of the virtual environment. Multiple users can easily share the virtual experience by putting on a set of stereo glasses and stepping into the cave. In the current implementation, one user actively controls the viewpoint by wearing the tracking glasses. Other users passively perceive the experience, much like watching a 3D movie. Since the cave gear is so easy to wear, users frequently exchange the tracking glasses during the experience. This shared experience also allows for guided tours by an expert navigator. The cave is a general virtual reality interface. Its design is flexible enough to be used in a variety of applications. Most applications shown in this tape are collaborations between the Electronic Visualization Laboratory and invited researchers from various disciplines. The cave is an effective visualization tool which provides scientists a new way to explore their research data.
You're watching Sleepcore, media for insomnia.
Il est 5 heures, appelez Marc-Antoine à Londres.
Internet est le nouveau grand média planétaire. Ce mode de communication va changer notre relation au courrier, au téléphone, à la télévision. Et c'est en 69 que les machines commencèrent à se parler.
Internet, c'est une interconnexion de réseaux qui a été fabriquée d'après une idée qu'avaient eu Vinton Cerf et Bob Kahn en 1973. Et Vint avait eu l'idée de décrire un seul logiciel pour que si tous ces réseaux tournent le même logiciel, on puisse les interconnecter et que si un ordinateur est connecté à l'un, il soit connecté à tous. La raison pour laquelle l'Internet est décentralisé, c'est plus une question d'architecture et de possibilité de croissance. La centralisation, ça permet un contrôle très fort, mais c'est aussi un blocage pour la croissance. On voit que les sociétés très centralisées, organisées de manière très militaire, ont des problèmes d'évolution. Alors que la décentralisation de l'Internet permet de rajouter sans arrêt de nouvelles technologies, de nouvelles méthodes de transmission, de nouveaux acteurs, de nouvelles compagnies. C'est ce qui garantit la croissance, c'est ce qui garantit qu'on peut croître de manière biologique, je dirais, et pas de manière militaire. L'armée américaine avait un réseau centralisé. C'était la manière normale de faire du commandement militaire dans les armées occidentales jusqu'à il n'y a pas très longtemps. Toutes les informations remontent au quartier général et le quartier général les dispatche ensuite. Ils se sont aperçus que ça, à l'époque de la bombe atomique, c'était très dangereux, parce qu'ils utilisaient une bombe atomique sur le quartier général pour que l'armée soit incapable de communiquer. D'où l'idée de faire un réseau décentralisé qui leur permette de communiquer, même si il n'y a plus de quartier général.
En entendant ça, les Shadocks furent un peu étonnés, mais l'ordinateur continuait.
Comment ça marche? C'est très simple. On prend un ordinateur et on prend un câble. Par exemple, j'ai ici un ordinateur, un câble. On le branche.
Opératrice 15, j'écoute.
Et on fait tourner un programme avec un modem, avec des logiciels, pour envoyer des données depuis cet ordinateur au relais suivant de l'Internet. Les données sont équipées d'un numéro d'une adresse Internet.
Enfin, l'électronique va s'efforcer de remplacer l'intelligence de l'opératrice par un calculateur assisté de ses mémoires temporaires et permanentes.
Et donc, chaque paquet de données avec son adresse va être véhiculé de relais en relais jusqu'à la destination finale, un peu comme un courrier serait véhiculé de centre de tri en centre de tri jusqu'à la boîte aux lettres du destinataire.
Where the mail order made you've ordered by parcel post, we come to you. Keep the one that you like best and then return the rest. For any one of us will bring a thrill so new.
L'Internet s'est développé en 3 phases. De 1973 à 1983, une phase de développement de la technologie dans des laboratoires. Il n'y avait à l'époque pas d'utilisateurs, ou en théorie, uniquement des utilisateurs expérimentaux. De 1983 à disons 1993, on a eu un développement dans des réseaux universitaires. Et en fait, à partir de 1989, mais culminant en 1993 avec l'arrivée du web, on voit maintenant une 3e phase où il s'agit non plus de connecter toutes les universités du monde, mais tous les ordinateurs du monde.
5 millions de Minitel sont aujourd'hui chez vous.
C'est tout un monde de services en direct et chaque jour de nouveaux services.
Au début, ça m'a paru difficile. Puis c'est très simple. Puis ça rend tellement de services pour mes courses, pour mes horaires de train, mon compte en banque.
Il y a 2 différences principales entre l'Internet et le Minitel. Première différence, une notion de version de technologie, le fait que l'Internet est multimédia, qu'on a des images, des données parce qu'on utilise des ordinateurs, à la place d'utiliser un terminal conçu en 1980. Deuxième différence, le fait que l'Internet est symétrique. Donc on peut, par l'Internet, avec le même ordinateur dont on se sert pour accéder au réseau, publier de l'information.
Alors déjà, il y a le courrier électronique qui est en fait la chose la plus importante. C'est-à-dire que au lieu d'écrire sur papier et d'envoyer à Toto, j'écris mon courrier sur mon ordinateur et je l'envoie à Toto n'importe où dans le monde. Ensuite, on a les news qui sont en fait des groupes de discussion. Des gens se sont dit, au lieu de s'envoyer des lettres un par un, moi j'aimerais bien discuter de la culture de la choucroute en Basse-Bretagne. Donc on s'est dit, on va créer un service dans lequel il y a un endroit où tous les gens qui veulent parler de la culture de la choucroute en Basse-Bretagne vont pouvoir parler entre eux. C'est pas un média de broadcast, c'est-à-dire c'est pas comme la télé où j'ai un émetteur qui envoie à des millions de personnes. J'ai des millions d'émetteurs et des millions de récepteurs. Et ce qui est intéressant, c'est que j'oblige personne à accéder à ce broadcast. Sur ma page maison, donc, comme disent les francophones, donc j'ai mis ma photo, quelques petits textes, un bout de CV. Et sinon, comme service entre guillemets, c'est-à-dire des choses que je sais faire et que j'ai envie de distribuer aux autres, j'ai mis quelques recettes de cuisine. Il y a aussi 3 éditions d'un journal qui s'appelle No Way, qui est un journal de hackers français, en français.
I just need Woody out of the way there. Out of the way.
C'est de la donnée électronique, je peux copier où je veux. Avant, on pouvait à la rigueur aller buter le type qui avait les photos et les négatifs. Mais maintenant, si ça arrive quelque part une fois, c'est copier. L'information ne disparaît plus.
code.
The internet is probably the second greatest tool of American cultural imperialism. After the Hollywood TV axis. This really is a way that we spread our zeitgeist over the rest of the planet.
Control the world.
And, you know, if the internet really works, we'll probably make everyone speak English. No, we won't make them speak English. We'll make them speak American.
Instant access to information will increase productivity, will help to educate our children, it will provide better medical care, it will create jobs. And I call on the Congress to pass legislation to establish that information superhighway this year.
It suits our national ends. It's advantageous to us. We know it better than anybody else. You know, as it spreads, we spread. It spreads our values. It spreads our ideas. It spreads our concepts. It spreads our industries. You know, our web pages, our promotion.
Internet n'appartient à personne. On a un certain nombre de réseaux qui sont interconnectés. Mais l'Internet, c'est une création de l'esprit, c'est un concept. C'est le fait d'avoir interconnecté tous ces réseaux ensemble.
Wait, I'm going to disconnect.
Okay.
Connect again. You'll have to open a new window for me.
Yes, whenever you tell me.
Okay, do it now.
Okay.
You're watching Sleepcore. Sleep tight.
We're exploring the use of virtual reality for training people how to perform tasks, such as operating and maintaining complex equipment. This video will describe Steve, an intelligent agent we're developing to assist in the training. Virtual reality provides a three-dimensional, interactive mock-up of the student's work environment, allowing them to practice tasks. The student, who's wearing a head-mounted display, appears as a floating head in the virtual world. Here we see the world through the eyes of a third-party observer watching the student. Steve, an intelligent agent, cohabits the virtual world with students to help them.
Hello. Okay. Let me show you how to perform the pre-start procedure. Always perform this procedure before starting the compressor to make sure everything is in working order. I will now check the oil level in the compressor crankcase sump. First, pull out the dipstick. Now we can check the oil level on the dipstick. It should be between the L and H marks. As you can see, the oil level is normal. Next, insert the dipstick. I will now perform a functional check of the temperature monitor to make sure that all the alarm lights are functional. First, press the function test button. This will trip all the alarm switches, so all the alarm lights should illuminate. Now we can check the alarm lights. All the alarm lights are illuminated, so they are all working properly. Next, press the Read Reset button to reset the alarm switches and extinguish the alarm lights. Look over here.
Steve is trying to demonstrate a step, and he can tell that the student is not looking. The student undid Steve's last action, forcing Steve to revise his plan.
Excuse me, I need to insert the dipstick again. I will now perform a functional check of the condensate drain monitor to make sure that all the alarm lights are functional.
Let me finish.
Okay, you finish.
Steve uses speech recognition to understand a variety of simple requests. The student asked to finish the task, so now Steve will monitor the student's actions and provide assistance.
What should I do next, Steve?
I would press the function test button on the condensate drain monitor.
Why?
We need to press the function test button on the condensate drain monitor because we want to trip the switches that trigger the alarm lights.
Why?
We want to trip the switches that trigger the alarm lights because it will allow us to check the drain monitor alarm lights.
Show me.
Press the function test button on the condensate drain monitor.
Steve is expecting the student to press the lower button to extinguish the alarm lights, but the student is about to erroneously close a valve.
No.
What next?
I would open the cutout valve for stage 1.
Steve suggests that the student correct the error before proceeding. Now the student will complete the task.
That concludes the task. Well done.
Die Beschleunigung und Flexibilisierung von Produktdefinition und Entwicklung, von Produktion und Service ist ein wesentlicher Erfolgsfaktor im weltweiten Wettbewerb. Virtual Reality leistet hierzu einen wesentlichen Beitrag. Beginnen wir mit der Produktdefinition. Diese Straßenbahn wird zurzeit bei Siemens Verkehrstechnik entwickelt. Das virtuelle Modell liefert eine verlässliche Grundlage für den Dialog der Entwickler untereinander, wie auch für das Gespräch mit dem Kunden über die Konzeption. In Virtual Reality kann man die Tram zum Beispiel in ihrer künftigen städtischen Umgebung, wie hier in der Stuttgarter Königstraße, abbilden. Mit einem Modell in Originalgröße wäre das nicht möglich. Auf diese Weise liefert Virtual Reality Entwicklern und Kunden präzise, verlässliche Entscheidungsgrundlagen. Salopp gesagt, alle sehen, worüber sie reden. Am virtuellen Modell lassen sich auch problemlos Varianten, zum Beispiel unterschiedliche Türmechanismen, darstellen. Ebenso verschiedene Bestuhlungen und Sitzbezüge aus diversen Farben und Materialien. Selbst eine realitätsnahe Fahrt in der Tram kann man miterleben. Mit Virtual Reality können Kundenanforderungen zuverlässig analysiert, Produktideen bewertet und alternative Entwürfe beurteilt und in innovative, kundenorientierte Produkte umgesetzt werden.
Hey, mister. Hey, buddy. Sir? Mister, hey, buddy. Yo, hey, buddy. We just ran this Visa card through, and they said you're over your limit. What? Oh, nah. I was so dumb. Sir, I'm not gonna let go. Please, it's my first day.
Visa puts limits on its customers.
It's not fair. Please, say.
But with American Express, you can always do more.
She's not real.